You hear that? That's the awkward silence of a family dinner after you just got caught vaping. Most vapes contain high levels of nicotine and disappointment. Brought to you by The Real Cost and the FDA.
This episode is brought to you by Kia's first 3-row all-electric SUV, the Kia EV9, with available all-wheel drive and seating for up to 7 adults, with a 0 to 60 speed that thrills you 1 minute, and available reclining lounge seats that unwind you the next. Visit kia.com/EV9 to learn more. Ask your Kia dealer for availability. No system, no matter how advanced, can compensate for all driver error and or driving conditions. Always drive safely.
I'm Mo Rocca, and I'm excited to announce Season 4 of my podcast, Mobituaries. I've got a whole new bunch of stories to share with you about the most fascinating people and things who are no longer with us. From famous figures who died on the very same day, to the things I wish would die, like buffets. All that and much more. Listen to Mobituaries with Mo Rocca wherever you get your podcasts.
Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, so this isn't really a rant. Well, no, it is kind of a rant. It's like a story time, talking on my experience, ranting. There's a lot of things. So it's like a multiple thing for one type episode and stuff, because no, I feel that, some people need to understand that everybody is not going to have the same level of experience when it comes to playing a video game. Some people may be good at a video game, some people may be bad, and then you might have some where they're like right in the middle. They're not perfect, but they're also not the worst player of all time. That's where I would consider myself, right? Now, there are a lot of games out there that I have played. I have played extremely hard and difficult games. I have played extremely easy and less challenging games. I play games where they're like right in the middle, where it's kind of like, okay, like you're putting yourself in that game and you have to just pretty much do what you would do in real life in this like particular situation, right? So not too long ago, I would have to say that I played an extremely challenging game, a Dark Souls type game, an Elden Rings type game. And it's actually funny that I mentioned those two names. The same people that made the game that I'll be talking on made those two games. Now, the game that I played some time ago is called Armored Core. They just recently released the 6th installment of that game. And I was curious. I wanted to see what it was about. I just want to put that out there. I have never played. I didn't even hear about Armored Core until that game had came out. So, for one, people need to understand that that's how it is for a lot of gamers. You're not going to hear, they came out with 5 other, maybe even some side games, all right? But they came out with multiple installments of Armored Core. It wasn't until this 6th one where I feel that that's when it started getting, main media attention. Maybe it did before, but I was unaware of it. I do feel that after this Elden Ring came out and then people saw that the same company that was making, because Dark Souls, it was popular, but I feel like it wasn't on like that mainstream level of like Call of Duty where you see everybody playing it. Elden Ring comes out, everybody was playing it, so it was on that level. And then people saw, oh, Armored Core is coming out, I gotta test this game out and things and see what this game is all about. So I that's one thing that I will say is that like these, fanboys, fangirls, whoever, you need to understand, all right, that there's a newer audience that's paying attention to these developers and what they're doing in the games that they're coming out with and all that. Now, I'm not going to say that Armored Core 6 was a bad video game. It actually was enjoyable all the way up until I got to the first boss. Now, my issue with it, right, is that, and I've seen videos before, people talking about it, so I don't know why everybody's like trying to comment and tell me. It's all like, y'all are seeing this video after I done, so I already seen what I need to see, looked at what I need to look at. But the thing is this, So I just want to, you guys can go watch the video yourself. But anyways, so I buy Armored Core. So no, I streamed it and then I made a video on it. So the stream, that's gonna probably come out like months from now because I'm so behind on uploading streams onto my main YouTube channel. But anyways, so I downloaded Armored Core 6. I'm playing it. It seemed mad fun. I was like, oh, this game is chilled. I like this. Now, I knew of what I was getting myself into, but when I had looked it up, nobody was saying like, oh, this is on like the same level of Elden Rings, this is on the same level of Dark Souls. All they just said, and then on top of that, there was other games that same company had developed where there wasn't no like Elden Rings or no Dark Souls. It was actually easy games. For an example, they made some of the Dragon Ball games. They made the one game that I did play of theirs. I was like, oh yeah, this game is chilled. It's easy. It's not like mad challenging and stuff, especially if you sit down, you play it, and you understand all the moves and all that crap. But Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, I played that game, and that game was fun. I was like, that's a game where I'm like, I should play it I should play it sometime soon. But overall, that game was easy to me. There was another Dragon Ball game that they came out with. I played that one. That was easy too. Now, I was thinking, okay, well, they kind of like blended in and all that stuff. So maybe that might, what I was thinking of when I had got into Armored Core 6 was like, okay, this game's probably going to have a challenge, but it ain't going to be on some stuff where it's like unbeatable, you know? So anyways, I'm playing Armored Core 6. They had it where you go through all of these smaller enemies. No issues, no problems. Okay, cool, bet. So this game's going to be a walk in the park. You know, if this is when I'm going to be dealing with fam, this is going to be fun. It seems that the story is interesting. It seems like they got everything that, you know, they like all the stuff that they got going on. Like, it seems like it's going to be chilled. I get all the way to the first boss, right? I'm playing against this first boss, and it was so upsetting because the thing is I don't like when games set you up for like failure, and I feel that that's what Armored Core 6 did when you're limiting on where I can go in the little fighting area. So the boss, the little helicopter, whatever it was, it can fly out of this zone and shoot me from wherever I was at. But when I tried to get right next to it, right underneath it, there was this barrier that kept me in. That was the first strike, right? And then I'm shooting at this thing. Now, in most cases, and I feel that this needs to be established and said, and you know, people need to understand this, because I feel that there's some people that lacks of understanding of what a bullet does. When a bullet, and now I get overall, like, you know, if it's something that's armored, it's going to take a while for, you know, the bullet to go through and stuff, but that bullet is going to go through. There ain't no such thing as in, you know, the most durable bulletproof vest in the whole wide world, where it's like you can stand up on it at close range, you can be all the way far, you can have the biggest bullet all the way to the smallest bullet, you can have all these different things, and it's not going to do nothing. No, people need to understand that everything in this world isn't completely armored to the point where something is just, you know, unstoppable. You watch any movies, you look at any war videos, you look at anything bullet, guns related stuff, at some point in time it reaches its breaking point, right? So my thing is this: I'm shooting rockets, bullets, I'm shooting everything that I possibly can at this helicopter. It does absolutely nothing. Thing kills me. Okay, that's strike two. Now at this point, was getting ready to, you know, fill out the refund, like, paper and stuff to get my money back, because I was like, I'm not playing this game if this helicopter is unbeatable and stuff. And I had played the level multiple times. I tried all these different ways of, like, getting underneath the helicopter, being far out from the helicopter, doing everything that I can. So people were saying that, oh, it's probably best to play the game with the controller. Controller didn't work. Still the same experience. And then at that point, I got my money back, because I was like, my thing is this: if I could play a multiplayer game, right, and I'm going up against actual people, and you would think and the mind of a person is going to be a lot smarter than a AI, you know, or NPC in a video game. It was an NPC, by the way, the helicopter in the Armored Core game. It was an NPC. You would think that a actual person's mind is going to be a lot smarter, but the fact that I'm able to take out somebody that lives across the country, across the world, in a country next to me, wherever, it's like you would think that, okay, like, yeah, with that, like, that's, you know, you would think that that'll probably be a little little bit more harder going up against an actual person versus an NPC, where it's like every other game I play where you going up against NPCs, it ain't no issue, it ain't no problem. But that one game in particular, they wanted to make it an issue and a problem. So I got my money back. But just what was it, today or yesterday, at some point, I think it was yesterday, so I uploaded the video of myself playing the game on controller. It still wasn't, like I said, it wasn't no difference. I kept dying on that first boss and things, so I upload that video. Tell me why when I had uploaded that video and it, was like, oh, like it'd been uploaded for some hours and people of course was watching it because Armored Core 6, it's a popular game and stuff. Tell me why people were getting mad at me for not killing the boss. So actually I feel like I kind of jumped the gun. So after I had got my money back for the game, I did look it up though, how to beat that first boss, just to be curious, and they said that you're supposed to use this sword. Now, in most games, at least I know if I'm creating a video game, I'm at least going to have it where you go through a properly built tutorial to let you know, like, oh, and my thing is this, yeah, all the smaller guys, yeah, that was no issue going up against them. Yeah, that's all you just gotta do is just to tell me, aim at that person, shoot them, they're dead. But with the first boss, I felt that more of a tutorial should have been established, letting me know how to take out the first boss. But if you're expecting somebody like myself, where I don't know about your guys' video game, then you're expecting me to just know right off jump how to take out this boss. And that's just something that I want to ask people. Did you know how to take out the first boss in Armored Core 1? Did you know how to take out the first boss in 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6? If this is your first time playing the game, do you think you're going to know automatically how to take out that first boss? No, nobody's not going to know. That's why they have tutorials of it on YouTube, to tell people how to take out that first boss. So it just really trips me out how like people are trying to get on me about not knowing how to take out the boss. And it's like, okay, well, I think it's been established in that video. And if it wasn't established, I'll establish it right now. That was my first time playing that game. I never played an Armored Core 6 game. I did play Dark Souls. I got a little bit far in that. I don't know, can't remember if I had went up against a boss or not, because it seemed like every enemy in that game was challenging. But at the end of the day, the thing is this. I played other games from that company where I went up against bosses. I went up against the smaller guys. I went up against the, the guys in the middle. I had no issues. And that's talking on the Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 game. So I played all the way up until I got to the, I think the first boss. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't having no issues. Not that I can remember. But it wasn't on some stuff where I'm like dying multiple times. And the thing is this. People need to understand though with video games that most gamers are not going to like losing. And I understand that's what comes with a video game, that you're going to lose at some point in time. I get that. If I'm going up against actual people, then yeah, those people are smarter than me. They understand what to do with that video game. But when I'm going up against a game where it's just a bunch of NPCs, that's on some stuff where it's like, and I even remember talking about that with a friend of mine's at my old job, where when you're going up against something in the video game, it's like they have it where it's like, they have like that settings where it's like easy, medium, and hard, and you put it on easy. The thing is this. I bought the game so I can play it on easy. If I want to play it on medium or hard, then I'll do that. But at the end of the day, if they have that option where I could play the game on easy and I could get achievements and trophies and all that stuff, fam, and I'm not saying make it like mad easy. If they had it on some stuff where it's like, okay, you're shooting the enemy, but you still got to dodge, move around, do all this other stuff, which is what I was doing. I was doing everything that I possibly can. It's like, again, brand new to the game, so I'm not going to know the controls. And that's why when you play games out there where they have it where you're going up against, because there's other games I played out there where I've had to go up against multiple bosses and all that stuff. For an example, Destiny. That if I had to say that there is a game out there where it has a challenge to it, and it's more so based off of your level. So it's like the higher level you go, then the more difficult the missions are gonna get. Now I want to just kind of explain Destiny to people out there that don't know really of Destiny that much. But anyway, so yeah, Destiny, when they have it where you start off in that game, they have you go through a little tutorial. But at the end of the day, they do have it where it's like you go up against bosses, but they're the same level as you. Now, in Armored Core 6, I felt that I was a level 1 person going up against a level 1 million boss. It's stuff like that that's going to make me lose interest in the video game. So that's why I'm like, it trips me out where it's like people are getting on me about not knowing how to complete the game. And it's like, And that's a question I just want to ask people. When you play a game for the first time, do you know how to get through it? Like that, let's say there's a mission on there that you're stuck on. What are you gonna do? Yeah, you're gonna look up tutorials, but at the end of the day, you are gonna get frustrated because you don't know how to get through that mission. It's like that with all gamers. Yeah, they might get those one gamers where they're just peaceful and they don't get mad at nothing. But I think for the most part, everybody that plays a video game, you reach that point where you can't get past that level and you're gonna struggle. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna look up tutorials. You're gonna look up. But that's the thing. I shouldn't have to look up a tutorial on how to beat a mission. I should be able to just beat that mission right then and there. So that's why I'm like, it trips me out how people are getting on me because I don't know how to beat that mission. But it's like, fam, how many games have you played? All video games aren't equipped like that, where it's like you gotta look up to, because Destiny, I think there may be one or two missions that I had to look up online on how to like complete them. And no, Destiny, I'm like, there's been times where I have played that game. There's times I remember I wasn't even going up against a boss. There was just a hard level in there, and I think it might have been that level in the first Destiny. I might have had to look it up, but if I think that's what I overall did. I didn't even have to look up nothing. They explain to you what you're supposed to do. They explain all that. They let you know you get the super abilities, grenades, all that stuff. And they still was even doing that in 2. But it's like, even when you look at like other video games where it's like you're going and you're playing, like it'll be like the 20th version of that video game that came, or the installment of that video game that came out. What do they usually have in the beginning? Tutorials. Now, I'm not saying that Armored Core didn't have a tutorial. They did. It just wasn't enough to be able to get me through that first boss. Now, they could have had it where a tutorial got me through that first boss, and then afterwards, it's like whatever info you capture from that tutorial, you just gonna have to take that with you throughout the game. So yeah, maybe I need to play the first few Armored Core games to get a better understanding, but at the end of the day, how I see it, if you're gonna come out with a game, right, and this is like you realize that you're having a bigger audience in this game than you did the last 5 games, then that means that new people are playing the game. That doesn't overall mean that those new people are aware of you or not aware of you, but at the end of the day, I think more needs to be done in that video game so people like myself can be able to play it, and I don't have to do podcast episodes and videos telling people or showing people how I'm playing it, and then they feel that they need to explain to me. It's like, for one, all those people that was getting on me about not playing the game, you're not a teacher. If I'm going to listen to anybody when it comes to playing this video game, it's going to be the developers, not some random fans where it's like, oh, if you see somebody talking bad about the game, oh, now I got to argue with that person. That's why all those comments people was getting on me about that, I ignored each and every one of them, because I'm like, them comments are meaningless. They have no meaning whatsoever. They don't mean nothing to me, and that's all disrespect to those people that want to leave those comments. Because no, it's like, you need to understand, it's like everybody is not going to have that same game or level of gameplay as you. You might have that extremely hard, challenging level of gameplay because you sit down and play those types of games. Me, on the other hand, I think it's clear as day when you go through my channel and you see how I play my games, then you can see a game like Armored Core 6. Yeah, it might be a little bit challenging for me, but at the end of the day, that doesn't take away the fact that I do want to actually sit down and play that game and get through it. But if you're going to have it where I can't get through it, then I'm not going to play that game. If you're going to limit me to what I'm able to do, because my thing is this, if I'm going to be creating, when you look at Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, and you look at all that like open space you have for when you're fighting, and I think they did have like some limits on where you can go and stuff in case you're trying to like fly all away from the enemy and stuff. That's not what I was trying to fly closer to the enemy so I could take the fight closer to them. But when you have it set up where it's like, I'm limited to going somewhere, but this helicopter can fly all around, has more damage and all that stuff, why would you think somebody's going to want to sit down and play that? So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, people, you're going to make a game for all audiences, because you have to understand that all audiences is going to be wanting to play that game, especially if they see it's a new game out, it has positive ratings, everybody is liking it, everybody is talking about it. You have to understand that everybody don't know about your game. They're not going to know how challenging it is. They're not going to come up with, oh, let me look up on YouTube on how to get through this first boss. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, if you're going to come out with a game for all audiences, but don't just have it where it's like exclusive to the fans that actually sit down and play that game. Then I'm like, then that's not a video game. I don't know what to call it, but I'm like, in my opinion, I'm like, no, that's not going to make me want to play more of your guys' game. I'm like, they come out with a Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. All I just know is that, yeah, I'm going to go into that game very carefully and make sure I probably buy it on like disc, or probably end up buying it on disc. So I'm like, I don't have to go, because I feel like like some games they'll do that too, where they'll have you play like 4 or 5 hours and then you can't get your money back, and then they want to put you on some old hard mission where it's like, okay, how am I supposed to get through this? Ain't nobody got no. And it's like, let's just say it's like, okay, a person don't got tutorials or any of that stuff on how to get through that boss because nobody can get through it. So what's the point? And so yeah, that's why I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna do that. I'm like, I'm glad that I had played Armored Core 6 within that 2 hour and 2 week range, so I wouldn't have been stuck with that. If I think I'd been stuck with that game, then yeah. And that's like, I shouldn't have to look up, because that most likely would have been the case where I had to look up tutorials on how to take out every boss in the game. And my thing is this: have it where the game is challenging, but have it where it's like not challenging to the point where, oh, I gotta like use my, if you give me, my thing is this: if something is charging at me, right, and I have a sword and I have a gun, and this is a question that I want to ask other people. Yeah, I guess if you're a person that's used to using a sword, you're probably going to use a sword. But if you're brand new to a situation like that, you have something that can shoot at far range distances and take out whatever it is that's charging at you, or you got to use something where you got to wait until the thing runs up on you. Don't know how this thing, what it's going to do to you when it runs up on you, but you got something that's, you know, good for range, and then something that's only good for close range. What are you going to do? Especially if you see it charging at you, you're going to shoot it. That, I think that's everybody's go-to answer. You're going to shoot it. But if you're on some, like, yeah, Michonne from Walking Dead type stuff and you know how to use a sword, then yeah, you're probably going to do some duck and dodge move, jump over it, whatever, and slice it in half. But everybody's not capable of doing that. So that's why if you have that option of using a gun, have it where that's an available option too. I'm just, yeah, it really confuses me, and I think I need to make a video talking on that, you know, for the Armored Core fans that wants to get mad at people for not knowing how to play a video game. I'm like, people like that, and I'm all like, you shouldn't, like, don't play video games. I don't know what you guys don't need to or should do, but just don't play video games, or at least don't comment on people's videos telling them on how to play a video game. Because it's like, that's not going to make me want to play the game. It's just going to make me want to step away from the game when I got people in my ear telling me how to play the game. So, but anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. And if you are purchasing any tickets from SeatGeek, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. It will knock $20 off your first purchase. And if you are purchasing any energy drinks from Rogue Energy, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. That will knock 10% off your next purchase. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.